So guys, we're gonna do a bonus episode here about Glenn Greenwald's attack on Anna. It was vicious and it was completely false. And I'm gonna prove it to you guys. I'm gonna show you the tapes and it's, first of all, really disappointing and sad to see because Glenn, I thought was a real journalist and we've praised him on the show many times and he did some amazing stories in the past, including of course the Edward Snowden story, and I think Edward Snowden's an American hero. This is a great story about Brazil. But after watching this, I was further heartbroken because I think now I'm not really sure about any of his past stories. Did he hide evidence on purpose in all of those? I don't know. There's no way of knowing because of what you're about to see, right? And it should be noted, we're doing this in the bonus episode because we do an actual news program. We do tons of stories every day about things that matter in the world. And we fight for things like the $15 minimum wage. I've even set up 3 different organizations and they've been relatively successful. I helped co-found Justice Democrats. There's 10 Justice Democrats in Congress right now. So we try to be constructive, right? Other people spend almost all of their shows attacking fellow progressives, doing personal drama, talking about their feelings, and almost never talk about the actual news, right? So in this case, I'm forced into responding because the smears were so over the top and so false and outrageous. So now this revolves around Jimmy Dore's claim that Anna tried to blackmail him with a DM that she sent him. So now Jimmy sexually harassed Anna while she was here, and that was all uncovered through this whole process. Now you're gonna see that with your own eyes in a second, but I need you to know that context. So when Anna says, and at that point, Anna sends the DM when Jimmy's already attacking her personally. And by the way, we're gonna show you a clip of that later as well, so you'll see that evidence. And so Anna's super frustrated because they keep calling her these outrageous things that she's paid off by NATO and all these other things. And Glenn claims that he's really outraged by anyone saying that somebody is paid by someone without evidence, yet he's never asked for evidence of any of us being paid by NATO. What an insane, absurd charge. But as long as it's his friends and his buddies that he wants to advocate for, there's completely different standards, right? So in the midst of that frustration, Anna sends a DM, and now they've characterized it as blackmail. And I wanna actually read the end of that DM for you guys so you know what the reality is, right? And it's in there, they've all put it in their videos. They read it to you guys and then they tell you something that isn't true. So let's read the end of that DM. She says, I've been holding back, letting you run your mouth nonstop as if you're some sort of warrior for what's good in the world. That is going to change. Now, in blackmail, the way that it works is, hey, I'm going to do something unless you give me something. You give me a duffel bag full of money in a parking lot, or you do this, or you do that, or you don't do something. It's an ultimatum, right? Here, there's no ultimatum. She says, I'm gonna do it, right? There's no like, oh, okay, maybe not, maybe this. If you do this, then I won't do that. No, she says, I'm mad because you are pretending to be a warrior for good when in reality, I know because of my personal experience that you're a dirtbag. So I'm gonna let people know you're a dirtbag because that's who you are, because you're going out there and attacking me personally. This has nothing to do with politics anymore. You're saying I'm paid off by nefarious people, all these different things, and including sexual attacks, etc., as you're about to see, right? So I'm mad and I'm telling you, okay, if you're gonna attack us, then I'm finally, I've been holding, and we did, guys. We held for so long, and we only do these segments after they go for a month straight. Finally, we'll correct the record because we have a news program to do, right? So she says that. So as you can see, already out of the gate, the idea of blackmail is absurd. It's totally absurd. It's not true on the facts as we start. Okay, now let's get to Glenn. So he sees that. Instead, he says this.
You see what she did there? Now, since this DM was sent, Jimmy anticipatorily went and showed his audience this threat, which is what this is, that she sent him. A threat that she's going to accuse him of sexual harassment.
No, that's not what happened at all. And there's no anticipatory anything. Jimmy just came out and admitted that he did it, right? And by the way, some of the things he said in that account were not even true. So Anna wasn't gonna say that, okay? And so she said, if you're saying personal things, I'm allowed to say personal things. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll tell you all the sexual harassment I already did. So instantly, Glenn starts out with a totally wild and incorrect way of phrasing it and characterizing it. So then he goes on and says this.
He gave his own version of events about what happened. She then went on her own program and made good on her threat.
But wait a minute, Jimmy already said he did it. So what do you mean made good on her threat? It's already public for the whole world to see. Almost every show's talked about it that's in this progressive sphere, unfortunately, right? And I hate that the clip is replayed. Now we're gonna have to replay the clip in a little bit to show you what a liar Glenn Greenwald is, right? But she made good on her threat. Okay, but wait, she said that's gonna change. So where's the threat? Where's the part where she says, hey, I don't like your political opinions. If you don't stop, then I will do this. No, Jimmy just goes out and goes, oh, you're gonna attack me? I caught feelings. Oh, that's it, everybody, all my cult, go out and tell everybody I caught feelings, right? So I'll tell you already, I'm a sexual harasser, right? And then Glenn takes that and goes, oh, you see how Anna is the one who did the threat and then carried out the threat. But Glenn, you left out the part where Jimmy already admitted it, but wait, it gets way worse. Here's more.
I have no idea what took place back in 2014 when they were working together because I wasn't there. But here's what so I can't comment on whether anyone did anything wrong back then.
You have no idea what took place, and you can't tell if anyone did anything wrong. All right, well, this is the clip that everyone has already seen. It's inconceivable that Glenn didn't see it. And if he chose not to look at it, well, that would also be absolute negligence if you're a so-called journalist. So he couldn't tell if anybody did anything wrong. Let's watch.
Anna Kasparian used to dress, when I worked there, unbelievably inappropriately for a newsroom. She looked like she was going to a rave. The skirt, one time she came into the newsroom with a skirt so short. It wasn't a pencil skirt. It was like a fluffy one too, but so short that she bent over in front of me and I literally saw her ass and her thong. She's wearing a thong. I literally saw it. Everybody saw it. And I go, hey, Anna, nice news skirt. And everybody laughed. Like they laughed louder than I thought they would. And so it humiliated her. She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom. And I did it.
And I did it. Now, Glenn, you said, I have no idea what took place. Well, your friend, the one you're defending and hiding the evidence for, told you he did it, and he told you exactly what took place according to his own account. And you, I don't know. I don't know what happened. What am I, a journalist? I don't know. Oh, everybody's already seen the clip. Oh, I don't know what the clip is. I have no idea what took place. And by the way, there's two really important things here. One is, why is he calling it a news skirt? Because the humiliation comes in, you're not a real news person. You're just here for all the men to leer at you. That's why I looked up your skirt and had a big laugh about it. Glenn, you're not sure what happened? You're not sure if, what did he say? Whether anyone did anything wrong back then, you're not sure about it. You're a journalist, and you just saw that. He never put that clip, he never mentioned that clip anywhere in his video. He never talked about it. My God, Glenn, what else have you hid from your readers all of these years? If you're doing a story as a journalist on this and you hide the most important evidence, what else have you hidden? So the second part that's important about the Jimmy clip is they're still laughing. This isn't something you did wrong and you apologized for 12 years ago, 7 years ago. Oh my God, we shouldn't have said that on air. This is not an on-air thing. This is a workplace thing, okay? You do this at work. That is textbook sexual harassment. Anyone who defends that, I don't know what you are, but you're definitely not a progressive. And then, not only did you do it back then, you're still having a great time about it. He's laughing, Steph is laughing. We humiliated her. But Glenn's not sure what happened. He doesn't know at all. What is he, a journalist? No, of course not. So there's a lot more where that came from. So now Glenn now makes up something, just fabricates a fact. Let's watch.
If anything, she was his boss at the Young Turks. And yet, according to her own version of events, and according to Jimmy's as well, she never once voiced a complaint about being sexually harassed by Jimmy Dore in the workplace.
But wait a minute, Anna wasn't Jimmy's boss at all. So Anna's become executive producer of the show later, but I was Jimmy's boss. So why didn't you check with us? Hey, you're supposed to be a journalist. Hey, was Anna Jimmy's boss at the time? No, you just chose to make up that non-fact. And I found that so curious. Why fabricate something for no reason at all? It's just gonna embarrass you, right? But then I saw this old clip of Jimmy basically threatening other people here, right? And when I say old clip, I mean this is after the controversy began, right? And he's trying to make sure now desperately, oh my God, I don't want more things to come out. And he said this.
She never, in the course of this 7 years, uttered a peep about claiming to have been sexually harassed by Jimmy Dore. In fact, in 2016, as I just showed you, they had a very amicable exchange. He was wishing her well on her mother's surgery, and she said, "Thank you so much, and it's so great to see how much you're kicking ass." That's not the exchange that one would expect from someone who actually feels like they were maliciously and systematically sexually harassed by someone else, but maybe it is. Maybe that did happen.
Okay, so we played a clip there of Glenn continuing. I'll get back to the Jimmy clip in a second. But in that Glenn clip right there, he says, maybe it happened, maybe. He doesn't know, he doesn't know. He said, in all these years, she never uttered a peep. Guys, you've seen sexual harassment stories. It's #1 go-to maneuver of people defending sexual harassers. Why didn't she come out before? Why was she a decent person and didn't want that guy fired? She made the mistake of thinking he's a friend. By the way, if you've been sexually harassed, if you're a woman or a man out there, say it right away, okay? Because they're gonna use it against you later. They're gonna send some sick guy like Glenn Greenwald after you later and go, why didn't she say a peep before? Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Even though he already knows that his friend admitted it on tape. Okay, but I want to go back. Do we have the Jimmy clip? So this is a quick clip about where Jimmy's on another show, and it explains why in the world Glenn would be making up the fact that Anna was his boss when she wasn't. Let's watch.
So now if anybody else at the Young Turks comes out and say that I harassed them, Anna's gonna get sued.
Oh, I get it now. Okay. So if anybody else at the Young Turks says I sexually harassed them, they better not, because I won't be in trouble. Anna will be in trouble. You better not say it. That's the Jimmy Dore, like weirdo, like rage, right? He's threatening everybody here, all the women who worked here. And he's saying, remember, I'm gonna get Anna in more trouble. Remember how I sexually harassed her? And remember how I humiliated her and laughed about it? Well, I'm gonna do it to you guys, and I'm gonna do it more to Anna, because Anna, I'm pretending Anna was my boss. Now, Jimmy knows Anna wasn't his boss. He knows that for a fact. Hey, Glenn, did you ask Jimmy if Anna was the boss? You didn't ask anybody, you just made it up. Oh, but if Anna was the boss, then Jimmy's point might be an interesting one, but Anna wasn't the boss. So I don't know if Glenn lied on purpose so that he could protect Jimmy from further sexual harassment claims. I don't know of any. I hope he didn't do it. I hope to God he didn't do it, but God, I don't know anything about Jimmy. I don't know anything about Glenn. I thought I knew these guys, and apparently none of us ever knew them at all. Monsters. So now, as you saw there in the earlier clip, Glenn said, she didn't speak out. It's basically, he seems like he's blaming her. He does the standard caveats in the video. I'll be way more fair than him. So in the video, he says a couple of times, it happens with women. Sometimes it happens with women that they don't say anything about sexual harassment, they come out later. But in the case of Anna, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. What do I do? Would I watch it? No, I didn't watch it. So in case you were unaware of it, here's Jimmy again admitting.
She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom, and I did it.
Glenn, you call yourself a journalist? Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. The hatchet job from a guy who I thought was a journalist in an earlier career, who now has become some weirdo right-winger. And if you say, oh, no, he's actually really left-wing, but he just happens to go on Tucker Carlson and Jimmy Dore's show, and he happens to support all these right-wing talking points. It just all happens to be, and he never happens to criticize right-wing. Hold on, I've got that for you too, because Glenn also admitted what he thinks about certain situations later in this video. But now we're gonna go back to his smears against Anna. Let's keep going.
That fact that someone doesn't come forward doesn't mean nothing happened. But what she's doing here is as grotesque as it is transparent.
So it doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but you see that, but she's grotesque. Jimmy is not grotesque for all the things that you saw. Anna's grotesque. This is textbook blaming the victim. Textbook. He continues.
It's basically blackmailing him, saying if you continue to criticize us, I'm gonna accuse you of sexual harassment.
I already showed you that it was no such thing. But Glenn, you're supposed to be a lawyer, and I get it. You're no longer a journalist, you're an advocate, and you've decided that you're gonna advocate for this monster, Jimmy Dore. I don't know why you made that decision, I don't care, because I have no respect for you left at all. Okay, but you're a lawyer and you're doing an interesting job of advocating here. You don't know that blackmail is a very serious criminal charge, and you just said that on tape with no evidence at all. In fact, you hid the evidence of the actual sexual harassment from your audience. You see, if you're in his audience and you're a reader, understand from now on, you have no idea what Glenn didn't tell you. The overwhelming evidence that might be on the other side, but Glenn wasn't advocating for that position. He wanted to advocate for his own opinions and his perspective. And in this case, he wanted to say, well, sexual harassment, is it really that bad? I mean, but the victim is grotesque. The victim is grotesque. You just saw it with your own eyes. By the way, there are really grotesque people in the world. There's like literal Nazis in the world. They write at the Daily Stormer. So interestingly enough, they also wrote about this story. Can we put it up on the screen here? I'm sorry that we have to subject you to the headline above that as well. But remember, these are literal Nazis, and they run with the headline, Anna Kasparian blackmailing Jimmy Dore with Me Too hoax. Hoax. You saw it on tape for exposing the Young Turks pro-war agenda. We also don't have a pro-war agenda. Every part of this story is a lie. Okay, now, just because the Nazis agree with Glenn and Jimmy, and by the way, other people, it doesn't mean that Glenn and Jimmy are Nazis. We're fair. You look, Hitler was a vegetarian. That doesn't mean vegetarians are Nazis, right? But when the Nazis agree with you, you should probably quadruple check your position. Did Glenn look like he quadruple checked his position? No. And so now it's interesting. By the way, after Jimmy's side put out all these old tapes of ours, some of the worst alt-right people like Cernovich jumped in and started spreading them around. And get a load of the alt-right and the alt-left meeting, okay? I mean, this thing has come full circle, because the original guy who leaked blogs and tapes about me when I formed Justice Democrats was Mike Cernovich. So he's also the Pizzagate guy. So Pizzagate, Seth Rich conspiracy theory. So all of this is now beginning to make a lot of sense. So and you just heard me call Jimmy alt-left. And I decided that actually is, a pretty good term for them, because they live in an alternate reality. There's the real left with Bernie Sanders and AOC and Nina Turner and Ryan Grimm and David Sirota and us, where we're trying to do something constructive in the world, where we're actually trying to pass bills. And yes, we even hold those people accountable, as we did in the $15 minimum wage fight. We held Bernie Sanders and the Justice Democrats, we helped get elected, accountable, because you need to pass the bills. Because guys, if we don't pass bills, all this is academic. It's about everybody's ego. Who cares about people's ego? Pass the goddamn bills, right? Nope. We got to tear everybody down. And in our alternate reality, the most important thing in the progressive movement is Jimmy Dore's feelings. That is so sad and sick. So they've easily earned that title of the alt-left. And by the way, if you want to be in there and you want to be, oh yeah, no, those things don't matter. The only thing that matters is the cult of Jimmy Dore, which I can't believe Glenn Greenwald has joined. Jesus, Glenn, you have no self-respect at all. A lot of people have lost their self-respect in this fight. It's really sad to see. Okay, and by the way, they say, and this is another thing that I have to confess drives me crazy. Oh, young Turks and Jimmy are in this fight and it's a soap opera. We didn't start this. We don't do this on the regular show. We do this once a month after they've piled up all of these lies, all these falsehoods, etc. They do it every day, all day long. That's all they do. Guys, wake up. If you're not actually part of the alt-left, wakey, wakey. When's the last time they actually did anything constructive? All right. So now, this whole blackmail thing, I'm gonna come back to that because some people who used to be good, smart people have been duped by that too. So apparently this was a state secret and Anna was going to threaten to reveal it unless Jimmy did the things that she wanted. Now, she didn't write any of that. You saw it with your own eyes. But not only that, apparently Jimmy had already revealed it. So I want to give credit to Matt Dimitri, who's found a lot of these old videos because Jimmy does live streams, but he's so unhinged, etc. He takes a lot of them down afterwards, realizing, oh my God, I've said terrible things. In fact, I don't know why he takes them down, and I don't care. Okay, but they found these, and so this is December of 2020. Okay, so this state secret that apparently that was going to get blackmailed, etc. Jimmy had already admitted. Watch.
One time I was in a news studio, and I won't say who did this, but someone wore such a short. No. Anyway.
You gave me a dirty look last week when I mentioned that. I thought it was funny.
I'm just saying. I've seen newscasters' naked asses in newsrooms. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying whose.
I think it was a nice news skirt.
Yes, a nice news skirt.
Yeah, the only thing worse than a nice news skirt is a nice news thong.
A news thong. It's a news bikini. I'm doing the news in my news thong. Oh, boy.
Glenn also pretended that Jimmy was a principled person who was only talking about politics. Have you ever seen Jimmy? He's only talking about politics, and he never made it personal until Anna threatened to reveal this thing that Jimmy had revealed months ago. And why did Jimmy start making, and by the way, they were talking about Anna when they went into that spiel, okay? And so it was not unclear who he was referring to. It wasn't any random person at TYT, right? They were talking about Anna and then they say all that. So if he's only talking about politics, why is he already trying to humiliate her? And as you see here, again, this is not a long time ago, this is now, and they're having the time of their life. Like she's doing news. Nah, we're gonna attack her and pretend that she's this and that and that she's here for our sexual amusement. You people sicken me. But now Glenn says, oh, I don't see it, I don't know. Here, watch.
People who have no evidence just throwing around these words trying to attach it to that person. That person is a groomer, that person is an abuser, that person harasses, that person is emotionally toxic, and instantly their reputation is destroyed. No evidence is required.
No evidence. He said it over and over and over again, full well knowing there was tremendous evidence that the guy he's defending had already said it. Whatever Glenn was, he's certainly not a journalist anymore. So, one more time, the evidence.
So when I did that, so she got really mad. She got humiliated. Her face turned red. She tried to insult me back, and it just fell flat. And she looked, bad.
She looked bad. By the way, that's a different clip. He said it 4 different times. I don't want to show you every time, right? But in the second version of events, he's like, oh, after I humiliated her, she said something back to me because she's a strong woman who didn't tolerate that nonsense. So. But it wasn't as funny as my news skirt line because I'm a comedian. By the way, where's the joke in that? Where's the news skirt joke? No, it's just to degrade someone. There's no joke other than the degradation, right? But haha, she wasn't as funny as I think I am. By the way, let me just note for the record, I feel sick about all of this because I saw Jimmy during the break sometimes, and I thought this is just some rapport they had or something. Not just with the Ron Placones of the world, but with Steph. Yell at her that she didn't that she didn't laugh at his jokes enough. And we've all seen it. The stage crew saw. We all saw it. Okay, why didn't you laugh at my joke? People won't think it's funny if you don't laugh at it. Well, maybe it wasn't funny, Jimmy. And by the way, you'll see it going forward. The fake laughs. This is filled with nonstop fake laughs because Jimmy psychologically abuses these people, and that's why I'm mad at myself. You know, you see that? I should have fired him right away. That's not a firing offense, but I should have known. That's a bad guy. That's a bad guy. He's wonderful to us, right? Like, why? Why is he great to me? He would give me gifts and stuff because I'm the boss. But when I'm not in the room, I'm looking up people's skirts, et cetera, et cetera. But I saw the Steph thing, and I should have known what kind of a disgusting character he is. You better laugh at my non-jokes, right? But Glenn can't tell. I don't know. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? And then he says at the end, she looked bad. Yeah, I guess Glenn agrees. The victim looked bad, and my poor beloved friend, who is not emotionally toxic, okay, was the victim here. Jimmy's the victim. Look, you guys are seeing all the videos for yourselves. So if you think Jimmy's the victim, great, have at it, okay? I never want to see you guys. Don't watch the show. You could troll. I don't care about any of it. Unlike some other people, we don't care about theoretically lost subscribers or any of that. By the way, none of it is true. You can tell who's bots based on the percentage of people watching, and our viewership is as high as it's ever been. It's all a mirage. It's all a fraud. Some people get jittery over it. Oh my God, I lost. I'm so sorry, Jimmy. You want to be in that cult? Go be in that cult. You disgust me. Okay, so now, I mentioned earlier, Glenn's become a right winger, and you say, well, no. Or maybe he just doesn't believe in sexual harassment at large. Now he says, oh, sometimes it happens, sometimes, I guess. But listen what he said here about an unrelated case.
Look what they did to Brett Kavanaugh with no evidence.
There was no evidence in the Brett Kavanaugh case. We all saw it. Glenn, what's wrong with you? But that lie doesn't even make any sense. We all saw it on national television. You saw Christine Blasey Ford, you saw her recounted, you saw the whole thing. We covered the test, everybody covered the testimony. But apparently now Glenn thinks, no, there's no evidence against poor Brett Kavanaugh. Now you're beginning to get a sense of what happened to Glenn, okay? It's not me, it's him, he's saying it. Okay, last one from Glenn about Anna.
What Anna Kasparian did here with that little message, I've not said this about you, I've kept it to myself, but now that you're criticizing us, that's all gonna change. That is grotesque. That is ethically repugnant. But it is also commonplace in liberal left politics.
Commonplace in liberal left politics. So apparently we're all guilty. Brett Kavanaugh is innocent, Jimmy Dore is innocent, but Anna is grotesque and morally repugnant. Guys, you all get to make a choice here. And if you say, yeah, I agree with Glenn, go have at it, Hoss. But it says something about you if you can't tell who's the morally repugnant one in this story. By the way, again, with the she's grotesque, go ahead.
She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom, and I did it.
No evidence, right? So even after people pointed out, hey, Glenn, wait a minute, this doesn't look right. And well, of course there's evidence. Even the Jimmy's fans, everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen the evidence over and over again. Glenn put out a statement, quote, in the video, I made clear that I have absolutely no opinion on whether Dore behaved inappropriately in the way that Kasparian claims. I can't judge that. He has absolutely no idea what happened. He just can't judge it at all. One more time.
She got humiliated in the middle of the newsroom, and I did it.
But Glenn, the great journalist, can't figure out who did it. He has absolutely no idea what happened. Going forward, guys, buyer beware. When you read Glenn or you watch him, You have no idea what he's hiding from you. I mean, if he could hide this overwhelming evidence and never mention it and keep saying, I don't know if it happened, but implying that it didn't happen. Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. Even if you agree with his interpretation of Jimmy's comments, and if you say, hey, go get him, Jimmy, will look up everybody's skirt and do it at work, it's great, I love it. And you're right wing or left wing, it doesn't matter, right? But you can't say that Glenn didn't know what happened. Glenn knows exactly what happened. Okay, last thing is this, guys. People change. And so, God knows I've changed. So when Cernovich found those old blogs and people go back to old videos and stuff, I cringe at that stuff. And I've apologized for it, by the way, probably now with the original Justice Democrat controversy, with when I ran for office and now, I've probably apologized dozens of times for it. You know why? Because, and I deleted those blogs 15 years ago. Why? Because I don't believe it anymore. And that's embarrassing, and I wish I hadn't said that. See how easy it is to say that, right? And I hope that I've changed for the better, right? I don't know if Jimmy was always this way, and now I'm worried that he was, right? And I didn't see it. Glenn, I thought was a great journalist. And either he wasn't, and all those old stories, I have no idea what he hid and didn't hide, right? Or he changed. Now it's up to you guys again, one last time, to make the decision. Who changed for the better? Who changed for the worse? All right, going forward, we're going to do a news show. Every day we do tons and tons of stories that you should know about. I'll give you one quick example, asset recycling. That's selling off the country piece by piece. It's an infrastructure deal. Trump wanted to do it. Biden is actually executed in the bipartisan plan. You should know about that, but I can give you dozens of examples, and we do every day on the show. But you could tune into these clowns, these alt-left guys who are just constantly talking about their feelings and accusing everybody in their path of being disloyal to Jimmy Dore. Why? Why does anybody have to be loyal to that monster, that clown? What a sad, sad state of affairs. If you're in that camp, good luck. And I believe in change. I believe in redemption. And I hope you change. But if you don't want to, that's your business. But you know, everybody says they're always done with it, but God knows what other toxic thing they're gonna make up next. But for now, this is the end of this chapter, and it's certainly the end of any respect I had for Glenn Greenwald, who's become a very, very sad embarrassment. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.